So everything was swollen on me, and I was retaining a lot of water. Like at the end, even my tongue was swollen. Wow. There's a funny thing. I have a picture with my hand on my son's car seat, and I showed my aunt. She was like, "Oh my God, whose foot is on the baby's car?"
I ain't gonna laugh at that, but dog. And I
was like, "Oh my God, it's my hand!" But everything was big. Everything was swollen. Like you wouldn't recognize me.
Wow.
Like that big. But they didn't diagnose me. I ended up in the hospital like 2 weeks after I had my son, for infection. Like it was all bad.
Yeah.
It was rough pregnancies for both of them. But after the weight didn't fall off.
Yeah.
You know, I had cousins that were pregnant with me, and like their weight fell off, and I was like, I don't understand. But I was one out of the other three that the weight didn't fall off.
Wow.
So, you know, at first you're busy being a mom and that role. And I also moved as well. I moved to Baton Rouge with my son and my family. And when I moved down there, his dad was going into the military at this time.
Okay.
So he was not like I didn't have any help.
Yeah.
So I would work out really late at night. I would work out. This is going to sound crazy. I would work out from midnight to 2 a.m. I portion controlled. I added fruits and vegetables. And I just did this on my own. I don't even think I researched. I just kind of did it.
So I did it. Mm-hmm.
I use P90X and Zumba because I love to dance. I would do P90X for an hour, and then I would do Zumba for an hour. And then I would go to bed, wake up, and
repeat. You would repeat, and this was a daily thing? Or?
Yeah, I would repeat because all through the day, you know, I'm with my son because he was still a baby. And he was like, when I say he's a baby, at this point, he's like 9-10 months going into a year.
Wow.
So like I had that weight on me for a while.
Yeah.
The thing that came off of me was maybe 15 or 20 pounds.
Okay.
And then the rest was all me. Like lose the weight in like 3 months. From me working out, and I would work out every night.
Wow.
Like I didn't take it off.
Wow.
I was just like, I don't know. I just was like, this got to stop. And then also like going back home to the islands, you know, you have like my family I was never big. So it was like, you know, in the older generation, like the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "Oh, you got big."
You got big. Or, I know.
You know, like, well, dang, you see, baby, like.
My grandma predicted I would be big, like literally. I'm not there, but she was like, "Yeah, just give it some more year." Yeah, come on, don't wish that on me, grandma. Like, what are you doing?
But you know, and that right there, I think is a lot of issues with society, because I'll get like new moms or their babies are like 5 and 6 months, and they feel like they got to be snatched up real quick, and I'm like, whoa, that is. You just had a baby.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay. It took your body all this time to make one.
Exactly.
It's going to take body time to
get over it. Yeah.
But I would do that. And then after I lost all that weight, maybe my kids are 3 years apart. So like 2 years, you know, I got pregnant again. Right when I was like, I got slim back down, got me again. So.
Yeah.
But this time was different in the sense I was depressed during my whole pregnancy. So it was completely different from the first one. But it was still horrible.
Yeah.
And then after, I didn't have as much weight, but it was still a lot of weight. So I gained maybe 68 with my son and 65 with my daughter.
Okay.
Either way, it was a lot.
Hey.
But with this journey now, it was more mental than before. Before, like, I still had me. And there was a lot that happened during that pregnancy as well that made me stronger as far as relationship wise. And I had to do a lot by myself before my son came into the picture. So I learned to do a lot of things on my own, and a lot of people don't learn that. Like, they're not comfortable with sitting with themselves. They're going to the movies, eating alone. I did all of that.
Wow.
So now, I know how to do that, but now I'm mental. So like, I was depressed during the pregnancy and after. Transitions going on and moving and all of this. So, the gym became an escape. It began time to myself, but I didn't start in the gym. I started at home. I always start at home because, who's gonna watch the kids?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, luckily, there's gyms, that have childcare.
Yep.
But where I was at, I didn't have access to that. So I would work out at home until I could go to the gym, or their dad could watch them, and I would go late at night, because late at night was my thing.
Yeah.
And I've done that. So, that relationships, all of that moved me into it. But what really got me saying, oh, I need to do this and do it for other people is, after I did my journey, I had a friend in South Carolina, and she asked me, what I did, and I told her what I was doing. And then I think the biggest thing with that was she had a support. So we would talk about things like that was going on personally.
Yeah.
Because she was, struggling, after having her kids and stuff like that, in relationships and things like that. And she was able, with me talking to her and telling her, stuff that I did, and then her putting in what she was doing, 100 pounds.
She lost 100.
She lost 100 pounds, and it was less than a year.
Oh my goodness. Was that one of the pictures?
Yeah, it's an old one.
Okay, it wasn't one of the ones you sent me. It was okay. I would love to see that. Yeah. It's
on my Instagram. And now she does group training and mommies and strollers. So she does that in Korea. But yeah, after that, I was like, oh, and she wasn't even with me. She was away. I was in Tennessee. She was in South Carolina. And so doing that, and then I just slowly started, picking up people, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go full time into it. So
that is so amazing. You said a lot here, and again, your journey in terms of what you just said is significant. So you have two children, beautiful children. Of those two, you said that with your second, it was the most weight that you had to get. No, it was the least. The first was the most.
Yes, I mean, they were only a few pounds.
Only different. A few pounds different. Right. But with the second, you had the depression aspect that you had to kind of carry with that weight. So that is, again, so you went through the struggle of losing it for the first time, only to gain it back with added depression to it. So, but then like you said, through that whole aspect, you were able to not only grow physically in terms of losing that weight again, but also mentally. You now had the stability and the comfortability of being alone and doing it yourself.
Amen as well.
So wait, say it again.
Weight training.
Wow.
The first one, I didn't weight train. Second one, I worked out in the house a lot, and so I was like, I leaned out. And then once I got into the gym, I started
toning up,
heavy lifting.
I love it. Let me go a little bit into the second weight gain, when you dealt with the depression aspect of it. Because again, I always ask this question to people I interview as well, and that is the mental and physical aspect of fitness. How would you have described that aspect of it? Do you feel like in some sense the first time you gained all that weight through the first pregnancy, do you feel like maybe you didn't have the perspective nearly as strong as you do now in terms of the mentality behind fitness? Or do you feel like your perspective, I guess the question I'm asking is, do you feel like the perspective of mental fitness became more aware to you the second time around? The first time, you didn't have depression, but the second time, do you feel like in some sense you gained a better understanding of just what that meant when it came to fitness?
Actually, because of my journey the first time, I knew what to do the second time mentally. So when you're transforming your body and making changes like that, it's discipline, it's consistency. So you know how you feel once you started, so you're like, oh, I need to go do this again because I'm feeling even more down. So this is going to help me feel better.
Yeah.
This is going to help my body feel better. I'm going to feel more free. I'm not going to feel pent down. I'm going to be stronger. So the first time around, because any journey, whether like, yes, when you're depressed, it's really hard to make yourself do things.
Yeah.
Because you really just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
But once you can go back and look at yourself, like changing and transforming, how it was and how you felt, you're more than likely to be like, okay, I did it already. Like, I need to get back up and do it again.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, like, it's crippling, Yeah. So, but once you can get up and do that, like, and just get in there, completely different. So another thing was with the depression, I went to the gym more. Work out at home. You can't work out at home when you're depressed. Or you need to get out of that space.
Yeah.
You need to get into a new environment. And when you get into the gym, I know a lot of people have they're scared or they feel intimidated or they don't know what they're doing. But if you go into the gym during certain hours, so I said I was a night workout.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of people in there at night.
Facts.
I didn't have to fight people for machines and or like, because that's more of the time where if you go in there and you're already feeling some kind of way, you're not sure what you're doing. The 4 to 6, 7 o'clock is not your time. Like, go after. Like, so that you're in there by yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody looking at you. You don't have to worry about, oh, I can't get on that machine because someone else is on it and using it as an excuse.
Right. Yep.
Or even if you just need to go in there to like release some steam, like just to get it going, get on the stairs, get on the treadmill, get on the bike, something that's gonna get your hormones and everything, like get those endorphins going and you feel better. You don't have to do a whole workout or a circuit or whatever, but do something to get that heart rate up. You're not at home. Cause like some people be in the club and I'll be in the gym. Like, so, people are out doing,
Yeah.
gym.
Cause it's the endorphins. Them endorphins are the same. Yeah.
Then you're going to feel better and eventually you're going to look better.
Exactly.
And, you're going to feel good about yourself.
Exactly.
So,
I love that. I love that you're pointing that out. Again, I see the PT coming out as we're talking. I do like, and again, me being a very amateur PT, hearing from someone who I see as very experienced, it really is helping me understand how I can better serve my clients or what exactly their mindset may be when it comes to, like you said, going to the gym and adjusting your schedule to nighttime or early morning. That way, it gives you, you're able to have these moments in which you can kind of get around the fear and the excuses, because I feel like that's where a lot of times you get stuck, when you can find excuses in not going to the gym or in not eating better and not, and you can get complacent which then leads to you either gaining everything you lost or never getting to that point.
Right.
So that's, I truly love that you touched on that. I also want to go into the benefits or the disadvantages of home workouts versus gym workouts or working out at the gym. What would be your perspective in regards to that for somebody maybe that's listening to this right now and they're like, Mercedes, I'm just starting out. Which one do I know is the best for me? How do I know?
I'm going to say I love them both.
Okay.
I train people at home and their body transforms. Like it's boom, it's good. In the gym, same thing. I can do it faster.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the reason for that is if you're at home, you're doing a lot of body weight if you don't have a lot of weight. Body weight is harder than anything else. I'm going to like, because you got to be able to pick up your own body weight.
Yeah.
So when I start off with anyone, I do body weight training because you need to be able to pick your own body up. You need to be in correct form. You need to be able to do, and not even just for losing weight or gaining weight, like gaining muscle. You need to be able in emergency to be able to move your own body or whoever's around you out of whatever situation you're in. So you need to pick your body up.
I love that.
So we start off with that. And then, you know, depending on how they're doing is whether we go into continue with body weight or time to add weight training in there. But I do both. I'll do cardio, HIIT, and weight training.
Wow. I love that. So, and again, your go-to is home workouts.
No, it's both.
Okay. I figured, or at least I thought it.
So I'll tell you this: if I'm feeling good and I'm feeling, I'm gonna do a home workout. If I'm feeling unmotivated and less willing to go do something, I gotta go to the gym.
Gotcha.
Once I get in the gym, I'm gonna do it. Same thing with people. Like if they can get in the gym, they're gonna. If I tell you to do something at home, it's a hit or miss.
Facts.
Even if I tell you, send me a video. If you're not there, you're not going to do it. There's really no. A lot of people need that accountability, and they need somebody in their face so that they know, like, okay, I have to show up. I have to do this because they're not there where they're like self-motivated. To go and get it done, and then be disciplined enough to be like, okay, I got to do this many times a week because somebody's going to have a bad day. And
so facts.
Not that important, and it is because then it makes the day around. Facts. So people just change their mindsets with fitness because I get a lot of people and they start working out and they're like, oh my God, I hate exercising. I'm like, no, you don't. You say, I love, taking care of my body. I love, the transformation is going to be amazing. Like, think of the positives, not the hard work that it takes. Or I'll get a lot of people, BBLs and stuff is the big thing right now. So everybody and their mama want to have surgery. And I'm like, no. Like, after you do that, like, you have to change your diet and exercise every day. So you might as well do it before.
Wow.
And, if you're going to spend money, get a trainer if you don't feel like, and save yourself some time and some money and some health, like, because you could die on the table. How your body's going to respond. I know people that their bodies reject. What
rejects it. Yeah.
Or they have to keep going back and getting stuff fixed. And so you're just spending money and a large amount of money at one time on have to keep, going back, especially as women. You don't know, you can have a BBL and then you get pregnant tomorrow.
Facts.
And then you have to work at either way. If you do it now or you do it after, like, you got to do it. You have to change your diet and you have to exercise your body. And and not exercising and going to get a quick fix, that's not helping your heart. That's not helping digestive system, like those things. So you didn't help yourself at all. But
wow.
to each his.
This is I'm so glad you're talking about this, because I wasn't even thinking about this topic, but you're exactly right. And then it coming from a female personal trainer, you know what I'm saying? Someone who, you know, you have an amazing physique. I think you have a absolutely amazing physique. Absolutely. But like you said, you'd rather work on that naturally because you get all the benefits. You don't just get the physical outward appearance. Benefits. You get the internal, you know, that you're working on your heart, you're working on the things that are actually your mental, you know, that's a whole thing. So you're hitting and you brought these things up, but I'm glad that you did, because that what you just said is enough right there to just say no or to just not do that. I used to always just think, or even up until now, I used to just would kind of be like, well, maybe if someone wanted this or that, and I would talk to my lady, we would sometimes have conversations about that and stuff. But you're right. Your mental, your physical, your internal physical health relies on that. And just by changing your butt or in some sense changing your waist size or something like that, when you could do it naturally, doesn't necessarily mean that you're still healthy.
Right.
And there's complications.
And some people mentally, you know, happy afterward either. You know, you'll just keep picking apart things, trying to fix them, and it's just not. People need to just start accepting who they are. And I tell people, because I get a lot of women that they either suffer from their self-worth, anxiety, some of them don't even like to look in the mirror.
Wow.
Yeah. And I make it a point to where we're gonna look in the mirror. You're gonna wear shorts. Oh, you're going to do these things all the way through. And then, or you're going to, once you get to a certain point, then you can start doing it and feeling good about yourself. Those are things that I've seen, you know, people being able to, you know, buy different clothes that they thought they'd never be able to wear, or be comfortable. I even had one of my ladies, she would talk so much smack about other women for doing certain things or wearing certain things. Got her weight down. My girl was doing it. And, you know, along the way, I would let her know, like, hey, we don't put other women down. We don't whatever. Like, that's not what we do here. And, you know, just talking to her on a personal level, getting her to change her mindset. And not negative towards other people, because it's just you feeling like reflecting
what you
I say that I can't, like, you really want to do that, but you can't, like, you can, so you put someone else down, and that's not what it's about.
Exactly. You I'm probably gonna get a lot of comments on this part right here, like, because you speaking it, but again, you are female too, and a lot of times I don't get female personal trainers that kind of say these things, but you're really, you straight up, and I love it.
I get a lot of people. So I had 2 C-sections. So I have loose skin. Some days my stomach is really tight. Some days it's not. And I'll have, you know, I had this guy, and he was like, so you're not gonna get surgery to get that fixed? No, for what? And some days it's tight, some days it's loose. It's either way, both of them. Like, exactly. I'm not getting cut again. Like, so, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, whether, you know, I'm gonna be fighting for it forever or whatever it takes, or it changes every day. It is what it is. But I'm not doing that. And I'm not knocking people that do get surgery, because sometimes people have a lot of excess skin.
And it's heavy, It
does be removed. But women that can build their body up on their own and stuff like that, like, y'all don't need to do, like, they don't need to do that. And I'm pretty sure half of them are, like, already beautiful, or they haven't even grown woman bodies yet. Like, just let it happen, or work on it. If you don't like something, work on it. before you make drastic measures.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there's some, I can get into all kind of things because I have people that are close to me that have done different surgeries, that have done lipo, that have done gastric. Some of them don't even like to tell me.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to hear my mouth.
I know. Oh, I know. I know.
But you know, they do that, and everybody has their own reasons, and I respect everyone and their decisions. I'm just an advocate for natural, doing it the natural way. Same. So I'm not, you know, I'll never knock anybody for making a decision on what they want to do, but I'm just letting them know that there are other ways and alternatives that are healthier, that are better for them, and they'll feel even better knowing that this worked and this is my result. So see, like, you know, this is it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I went and got my body done.
Exactly. It's like that saying, the saying where give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So if you learn something, you can literally do it at any point in time in your life. If you just give something or have something handed to you, it only works for that moment.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Mm-hmm. I love that. And again, I love that you pointed this out, which leads me to my next question, because I feel like a lot of people want to know this from you, since you are an amazing PT. I can already just tell from talking to you. Oh yeah. You can tell what's in the person's mind by what they say. And I can tell from what you're saying, you know, and you give out information that is very valuable. And I would want to know even your response to this next question. How would you, or what advice would you give someone that wants to find a trainer, but want to find a good trainer? Want to find a trainer that doesn't have a BBL or didn't get some type of modification done, you know, because there's a lot of them on TikTok. You know, Mercedes, you already, come on now. What would you get? What advice would you give them to where they can avoid that, you know, this false advertising?
Okay, so most people, it depends on the person. Most people that have had work done or something of that nature, either one, they're very honest with you about it, or two, they delete everything. And and all you see is what they look like now.
Yeah.
If somebody only shows you what they look like now and it doesn't fit your needs, then I probably wouldn't pick them. Like I get a lot of ladies that are bigger ladies, and some of them that, you know, are like newer friends and stuff like that didn't see me bigger, would be like, oh, you've always been small, you don't know how this feels. Girl, bye. Yes, I do. And I've been through different body transformations, like all of them. So I've had to build a butt. I've had to build, build things back up or take things down and da-da-da-da. So I've been through all of them versus a lot of young girls that are already fit.
Yeah.
Or they really don't, like, their bodies were already kind of like that, but then they sculpted it out. Now, if you are in that situation where you want to sculpt out and different things like that, definitely pick those girls, because they're gonna, tell you how they already, So, but from a bigger person's standpoint, it's really going to depend on your comfortability. Like, do you want someone that doesn't quite know that part of it to show you?
Right.
Or, do they know your struggle? Do they know how hard it is on your hips and knees and your back? Like these different things. And I know all that because I have disc degeneration.
Wow.
Car accidents and stuff like that. So like working out is like a thing. Like it's mental, it's physical, like it's a need. It's not like I gotta do it. And just there's a lot of people that hopefully I hope people know what is real and what is fake.
Yeah.
Because I could tell off bat.
Me too.
So if you had work done, I don't really, that's not for me. Cause I like the natural. But everybody has an audience.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, and another thing for me, in my opinion, I don't look at people and be like, oh, I want to look like them.